Welcome to Addicted to Real Estate TV. On today's episode, I'm going to talk about give me a reason to buy your house. So stick around. I got some great information I want to share with you.
To say you gotta know somebody, or know somebody to get somewhere these days. To say you know that's alright, yeah, that's alright. Cause you know that's alright with me. Yeah, you know that's alright, yeah, that's alright. Cause you know that's alright.
Welcome to Addicted to Real Estate TV. I'm your host, Phil Falcone. Today's episode was sponsored by Realty Mark 100, where you, as a real estate agent, get to keep 100% of your commission for only $100 a month. I know, it sounds crazy, but it's true. $100 a month gets you 100% commission. You can check them out at the phone number above or the website below, Realty Mark 100. It's really a kick-ass idea that's coming to your neighborhood soon. You definitely want to check it out. All right, so today I'm going to talk about give me a reason to buy your house. Boy, it's a crazy real estate market out there this summer, I'll tell you. I really thought that prices were going to flatten out by now, but that is not the case. I see continued downward pressure, and it's making me be very, very cautious and really just being careful about what properties I buy if the intention of buying that property is to buy and hold, which happens to be one of my favorite real estate strategies. So, what are the reasons that somebody would buy a house? Well, one would be I'm making such an amazing deal on it that I'm picking up instant equity the minute that I buy it. There's a lot of things that I can do with a house that has instant equity. I can turn around and wholesale to somebody else right away. Or if it's a keeper, and I'm really, comfortable with keeping that property, as long as I can figure out a way to make it cash flow by whatever means I finance the property, that equity becomes an instant addition to my net worth. That's great. I love to do that kind of thing. And there's no easier way to build up your net worth than to pick up a property that has equity in it. The only problem with that is that some of us need cash in our hands right now. So it's a little hard to eat equity. You can have millions of dollars worth of it, but sometimes it's hard to feed your family off of that. So equity is a great reason to buy a house. Future purposes mostly. Okay? The next reason to buy a house is what? It's cash flow. Okay? I might buy a piece of property if it has tremendous cash flow. And hopefully you can get some equity in the process. But a cash flowing property will help to solve some of your problems today. But I would just caution you there as well, because what I'm seeing is so many people are unemployed, so many people are having problems paying the bills, and the rent is a bill. Okay? You become one of many bills that are getting sent to this person. So you have to put yourself in their shoes for a minute and say, am I going to get paid this rent? Cash flow always looks great on paper, but in reality is a whole nother story. And what I've been seeing, it's always been the case in real estate, that if you went to a lower income neighborhood, all right, call it whatever you want to call it, lower income neighborhoods, you know what I'm talking about. Those neighborhoods always cash flowed better than the higher end neighborhoods, the suburban neighborhoods. So if you go into a semi-rough neighborhood in the city, usually you will get great cash flow on a rental property. And but what I'm seeing today is that a lot of those properties collecting the rent is becoming more and more difficult. So on paper, that property has great cash flow, but the reality is that that cash flow is not happening. It's not happening for the landlord. Okay, maybe in a Section 8 scenario it would, but I really don't do a lot of Section 8. To me, it's like welfare for landlords, and I try to stay away from that. I want to surround myself with individuals who are moving up in the world. I want my tenants to be individuals who are being productive individuals of society, people who are working, people who are producing something, people who are moving up in the world. But that's a story for another day. So what's happening in the higher end neighborhoods is I have lower cash flow, okay? But one thing I'm noticing is that in those neighborhoods, those properties have lower cash flow on paper, but they have lower cash flow in reality. So the difference is that these low-income neighborhoods, they have great cash flow on paper, but the reality is it's not cash flowing at all. Where in the suburban neighborhoods I see lower cash flow on paper, but I actually am hitting the targets of what I thought I would hit. Now, maybe it's just me, but really what I see in my own life and in my own investment portfolio is all I really have to share with you. I don't sit up here and read an article on somebody else's website and then get up here and share it with you. I share with you what I really know, what I'm really doing, what I'm really experiencing. So that's something that I wanted to tell you, that a trend that I've noticed lately that hasn't always been the case in the real estate market, but it's certainly what I perceive to be the case right now. The other thing I wanted to share with you is, financing. I mean, the more and more I'm in this business, the more I'm beginning to learn that this is a financing business as much as it is a real estate business. Structuring terrific loans for yourself. No money down deals, I love them. That's creative financing. That's your ability to negotiate with the seller or with the private lender or whoever it is that you're putting this deal together. And structuring great deals for yourself, whether you're dealing with a bank and getting the best interest rate you can and negotiating like crazy with them for loans. If it's commercial loan, I mean, I'm fighting with banks like crazy on the commercial loans that I have, making sure that there's no prepayment penalties, making sure that there's pulling out as much equity as I can, and making sure that I'm setting myself up with fixed rate, dirt low interest rates right now, so that my properties are going to be protected over the next 5 years, which is typically the longest loan you're going to get in a commercial. And if I'm dealing with an individual seller who's giving me seller financing or private lender or whatever that is, I put a tremendous amount of energy into just focusing on the financing, making sure that I'm getting the best possible deal. That takes a lot of time, okay? It takes a lot of time to look for a deal, and it takes just as much time to look for a deal in the financing. And you really got to work it, is my point. You got to work it, because the energy and effort that you put into that is going to pay off in making that property successful or not. So many people are walking away from properties today, and it's pretty sad in some cases, and I'm surprised. I'm really surprised at some of the individuals I see that are walking away from properties as investors as well as homeowners. And if maybe you put extra effort into the financing portion of your deal today and making sure that you're getting an absolute best possible price you can structure, as low as you can pick it up, you have to do that today to protect yourself, to make sure that the deal is going to hold up for the future, and you're not going to be walking away from it 4 years from now if this economic recession continues, which I hope it won't. We're going to find out soon in 2012, in the election of 2012. That's right, baby. Okay, we need to change, everybody who's in there and throw those bums out and make something different happen. So, in hindsight, what I'm saying is that you have to be more careful today, and you have to have a reason to buy that house. You want to make sure you're picking up equity. You want to make sure you're picking up cash flow, and you want to make sure you put a tremendous amount of effort into the financing. So that's the ideas I wanted to share with you today. If you're looking for a good real estate book to pick up, don't forget to check out Addicted to Real Estate, Why I Can't Stop and Why You Should Start. It's a great book. I'll tell you, I poured a ton of energy into this thing, where the reader gets to stand behind my shoulder and listen to me talk about some of the most craziest, sophisticated real estate deals you've ever heard of. And it's a great roller coaster ride of lessons that you can learn that'll be absolutely priceless to you, the investor. And I'm only charging $20 for the book. That's 20 years experience for $20. That's only $1 a year. I think you can spring for it. Another thing I'm doing is this Realty Mark 100. If you're an agent, make sure you give me a call. If you're looking for an office, I got a great office building in Huntington Valley, Executech Suites, where we provide offices for only $495 a month. I give you everything you need. So I'm doing a lot of different things that I'd love to talk to you about. I'm wholesaling properties. Make sure you put your name and email address in on the front page of my website, addictedtorealestate.com, where I kick out some of the hottest deals that I've got my fingertips on, where I'm looking to make a very small fee for myself, and you can take this property and flip it or do whatever it is that you want to do with it. Some of these deals are so cheap that I get a fee for myself and people are re-wholesaling the properties. You know, multiple levels of wholesaling. That gives you an idea of how cheap I'm giving these things away. Make sure you put your name and email address in at Addicted to Real Estate TV. I'm Phil Falcone. Thanks for listening to today's video, and I hope to be seeing you somewhere out there in the real estate investing world. Thanks for listening again. Have a great summer.